It feels so good to be back. I've been listening to a lot of Eminem recently. Hello, people. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Akoma show. I'm not sure exactly which episode this is. I never do. I just throw a random number in there. But welcome. I appreciate you guys tuning in to today's version of this show. We got a lot to talk about today, such as The Rock getting booed, Rock's daughter deleting her Twitter due to toxic Cody Rhodes fans, quote unquote, and why I think that's kind of ridiculous. Sami Zayn talking too much. Drew McIntyre being the greatest face and the greatest heel at the same time. CM Punk possibly coming back earlier than expected. Triple H press conference. I never talked about that. AEW ratings. Jericho embarrassed himself again. Cash Wheeler of FTR possibly facing some legal trouble. And finally, Patrick Mahomes' dad also facing legal trouble. There's a lot of legal trouble in the sports world. But beginning off, The Rock got booed today. If you don't know, The Rock basically came in and took a spot that wasn't for him. He came in and took a spot. And I'm not talking about 29. It's not 2013, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2024. And The Rock's been doing this for about 11, 12 years now. He came in and basically deboed Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania spot. It's coming out now that Cody Rhodes was actually promised this spot. He was promised this spot, a week before the Royal Rumble, which is kind of crazy to me because I would think that spot would have been promised to him before, because they told him way ahead of time that he was losing at WrestleMania 39. You would think the story would have been, hey, you're going to lose at WrestleMania 39, but you're going to win at WrestleMania 40. It felt like that was always the deal. It felt like that was always the case, and they never shied away from that being the case. But it's coming out now that, it up like a week before. I guess maybe they just told him that he was supposed to win a Royal Rumble. But now it's gotten so bad that even The Rock is being booed. One of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, is being booed. And that it goes to show you that there are still very much passionate fans within WWE. And it also goes to show you how much progress Cody Rhodes has and how much it means to be there full time and how much it means to be there weekly and how much it means to be a good person, because Cody Rhodes is the type of guy. I seen it when I went to Bray Wyatt's tribute SmackDown show, and that man was out there taking pictures for at least 20, 30 minutes post show. And he did double duty that day. He did a promo for Terry Funk because unfortunately Terry Funk passed away the same week. He did a promo for Terry Funk, and then he came out and did a dark match. And then after that is when he did the 20 to 30 minutes worth of pictures and the security guard trying to get him out of the building. I know he got in trouble for that. He did the same thing last night on Monday Night Raw, and it seems to be a pattern with him. And, he'll hand out stuff like a broken piece of a table. He'll hand out, I think he gave away a tree around Christmas time. That man is the people's champion, and I said it in my last video. He took away the title of people's champion from Dwayne Johnson, and that should be enough for Sir Dwayne Johnson to realize that you're not what the fans want, and that's okay, bruh. That's okay. Your time has come and gone. I'm sure you're going to run for president. I'm sure you're going to find another movie where you could play the same character for the 100th time. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Just accept that your time is up. You waited too long. Again, it's not even that it can't ever happen. Just wait till next year. If you made us wait 9 years, you can make us wait one more year for the anniversary of the debacle that was the 2015 Royal Rumble, where you came out and tried to help Roman Reigns and win that Royal Rumble, and you both got booed in Philadelphia, ironically enough. And just wait one more year, man. Build it up. Give it that WrestleMania 28 John Cena versus you feud. That build up, that amazing year-long build up that y'all had, and do that, and we can decipher, or we can understand how much of a box office draw you are, because your movies don't do that great. You flopped with the XFL, you flopped with Black Adam, you flopped with a whole bunch. So, give it a year-long build, because you're not that big of a star to where you could just put your name on something and it turns into gold. You're not that guy. You're not. And you can bully Hollywood, you can have a stranglehold on Hollywood all you want, but you're not that guy. People aren't jumping up to see you anymore. It's just what it is, and you can take credit for this, but WrestleMania 40 was almost about to be sold out before you. So, I think you drove off as many people as you brought in. So, yeah, Cody Rhodes tried to warn y'all, and y'all didn't listen. And apparently this caught some people by shock. Not even gonna lie, I'm the biggest Cody fan. I'm the biggest Cody supporter. This caught me off guard too. Like how much, and don't get me wrong, it's not just Cody. I would say majority of it is Cody and the goodwill he has within the crowd and the WWE universe. But it's also a middle finger to The Rock. It's also a middle finger to TKO. Y'all not about to force us to like something when y'all built something up, and y'all not about to take something away from us that y'all basically promised to us. So it's a middle finger to The Rock. It's a middle finger to TKO, and this a humbling moment if Black Adam wasn't, if the XFL failing wasn't, and if all them other flops wasn't a humbling moment to The Rock. This definitely will be. So, hey, sucks to suck, Rocky, but, should have stayed away. Shouldn't have tried to debo my man Cody Rhodes. That's sick. That's real sick. So, Drew McIntyre, man, Drew McIntyre is the greatest heel, the greatest tweener ever. He's the greatest heel and the greatest face on the show at the moment because he speaks with logic. Everything he does is with logic. Everything he does is like a human being moves. He moves how a human being should move, and wrestling so lacks that for some reason. I don't know what. He's improved so much on just a microphone, in ring. It's just crazy, and I'm not even talking about the time he left WWE to go to TNA and came back. I'm talking about just over the last 3 to 4 years. I don't know who this guy is and where it's been, but man, it's been amazing to watch. He basically came out, he interrupted Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and said, Cody, bro, you got to finish the damn story, man. You got to finish that story, big bro. He basically said what the fans was saying, like, you can't let the fans down. You can't let yourself down. You can't let Dusty Rhodes down. How dare you just give up that spot? What are you thinking? I set this up for us. I took out CM Punk so I could take on Seth Rollins, and you could take on Roman Reigns. And don't get me wrong, there very much was some heelish stuff in there, because basically it was for selfish reasons. Like he don't care about Cody Rhodes finishing the story. He wants Cody Rhodes to go after Roman Reigns so he can go after Seth. But at the same time, he said enough to where he's saying what the crowd is thinking. He's saying what the crowd can't say. He's the voice of the voiceless right now. So even though we have a voice, we don't have as big as a platform as he does. So this is I appreciate Drew McIntyre so much, even though he took out my second favorite wrestler, or probably my number one. Who knows? One of my favorite wrestlers, one of the top two in CM Punk, even though he took him out and he's his biggest op right now. I can't help but to love Drew McIntyre right now. His character just makes so much sense, and I look forward to everything he does. And, I hope they don't do anything with Shinsuke Nakamura as in a tag team or something. I don't know what the plan is for him at WrestleMania. Ideally, he will walk out of there with the title, because I'm thinking whatever happens with Seth, he has to be going away for a while. Either way, he has to be leaving for a minute, because he got to heal that back, assuming that's a real injury. He has to heal that cartilage. He has to heal that meniscus. He has to heal that MCL. So, I'm expecting him to take some time off after WrestleMania, which means I'm expecting him to drop the title at WrestleMania, and it's about time. It's either Sammy or Drew. I thought Gunther, but it seems like Gunther has other plans. So maybe next WrestleMania for Gunther, but either Sammy or Drew. That's who I want. And, we'll see what happens. But Drew McIntyre is just a GOAT material right now. That dude's on another level, man. He's one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing to look forward to on Monday Night Raw at the moment. Hats off to Drew. And speaking of Drew, his biggest op, CM Punk, man, they are teasing us Man, we seen a video package. I think they call it a vignette. I thought a vignette was hyping up something. This was basically just showing him getting his surgery, and it's coming out now that Ace Steel reported to Fightful Select that WWE may want CM Punk to do some commentary, and I am all for it. I just want my man to be happy. At this point, honestly, it kind of hurts to watch him wrestling. He's slowly, very much slowly entering into that Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan, Edge lane for me, to where it's like it's kind of getting hard to watch him wrestle. He's kind of in between with John Cena, where it's like, just please don't get injured. Just please don't get injured. And if he can do commentary or work as a backstage coach or work in creative or whatever his next passion will be, I'm sure it will be in something with wrestling, because he did kind of leave 7 to 10 years off the table. So I'm sure he wants to make up for that. He's regained his love for the business, as you can tell. Just watch his look in the eyes, as they say. Look in the eyes, and as a fan of the person more than so the wrestler, I just hope the best for him. I hope whatever he does, it makes him happy. And whether that's sitting on the couch with Larry and AJ or April, or that's being behind the scenes, or if that's being on screen or a commentary, whatever he wants to do, I just hope he's happy doing it. Because my favorite CM Punk isn't straight edge society Punk. It isn't Ring of Honor Punk. It isn't even Voice of the Voiceless 2011, 2012 Punk. It's not Wolverine Punk. It's not veteran Punk. It's not AEW Punk. It's the Punk that's happy. And before this injury, that's what it seemed like he was. And he had a glow about him that I've never seen about him. And he said it himself, 10 years ago, he had a chip on his shoulder. That chip is off his shoulder, and he's just going along for the ride, and he's enjoying it. And I, as a fan, again, more so of the person than the wrestler, it's amazing to see. And I just hope whatever needs to be done for him to keep that going, it keeps going. And just side note as well, him working WrestleMania isn't completely off the table. I've heard Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said that he hasn't heard anything of him guaranteed to miss WrestleMania. Just fans are holding on, and maybe a little bit of delusion that CM Punk, with the Drew stomping, with Drew constantly bringing him up and digging at him and stuff. Now, me personally, I would believe that it's just building for a future feud. But given the fact that even Drew McIntyre may not even be back, or may not even be here when CM Punk returns, because he's yet to sign a contract extension or a re-sign with WWE, I would think that's what they're building towards. But who knows? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? Who knows what's even going on? Who knows? I just hope it isn't longer than 4 to 6 months, man. I hope he does commentary. I just want to see him on the screen, man. I'm tired of waiting. Whether he's just doing interviews, commentary on NXT, I'll watch NXT for CM Punk. Even if he's doing dark matches, and I don't know, man. I just want to see CM Punk, man. I do. Selfishly, I just want to see CM Punk. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. Y'all know I'll be watching for the CM Punk news. So next, I wanted to talk about Triple H in this press conference. During Royal Rumble week was when all the Vince McMahon allegations and Vince McMahon troubles came out. And similar to Tony Khan, this man Triple H had a terrible reaction or response to the questions given. Basically, he was saying, I just like to focus on the positives. And he basically dismissed the question, dismissed the whole entire case, dismissed everything about it. It tried to focus on the positives. And I understand doing that, but at the same time, we have to be human. We are human beings, and this is very serious. This is especially given the fact that a lot of people are accusing you of knowing about stuff like that. You got to do more to clear your name. You got to do more to, reassure the audience that what's going on. They're supporting a content or a company in content where behind the scenes people aren't going crazy, people aren't being abused, people aren't being SA'd, and it makes me sick to even think back on 2019 to 2022 doing what allegedly went on, and not even allegedly at this point, because John Laurinaitis basically confirmed that something was going on. So, Triple H definitely disappointed here. Honestly, I don't look at Triple H for moral or somebody who with the utmost a moral compass. And that's not to say that he's done anything wrong about but he wasn't the greatest guy back in the day. He wasn't. He did a lot of racist gimmicks. Not a lot, but he did a couple of racist things, like what he said to Booker T, doing blackface against The Rock. He wasn't the coolest, he doesn't have the greatest track record. And, of course, people change. That was all of that, what I just said. It was about 20 years ago. But at the same time, it's like, as a minority myself, if it came out that Triple H had something to do with this, it would be sad to me. It would very much disappoint me. But at this point, honestly, I'm kind of waiting on it. I'm kind of waiting on to hear that Triple H has something to do with this, or he was compliant, or he just let stuff go, or he had some hand to do with this. Because if you either coaching it or you're condoning it, if you let stuff like that go on. And I understand he's not, he isn't he's head of creative, but he isn't the chairman like Vince McMahon was. I understand he only has so much power, but at the same time, that is somebody who is the grandfather of your children. That is somebody who your wife went on screen and led a thank you Vince chant. And I get it. I also, to be fair to Triple H, he did do the Nick Khan and Stephanie, of all people, voted for Vince not to come back to the board of directors. So I don't know. I don't know where exactly Triple H falls on this, but I do know the press conference was bad. I would make the argument that it was worse than Tony Khan's, because at least Tony Khan was like, hey, we have a safe company. He didn't answer yes or no to the allegations on Chris Jericho, but at least he tried to reassure that his company is safe. Triple H tried to pivot to his success, and which is pretty nasty. So, I don't think Triple H should be the one to even address stuff like that, because he is just the head of creative. It should probably be somebody like Nick Khan or whoever the TKO guys are. Who knows? But in a weird way, Triple H is the leader of the locker room, given the fact that he is a former wrestler. So he is a former talent. So maybe he is the person. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not necessarily looking at Triple H to be a moral compass, is all I'm saying. Speaking of Tony Khan, it's coming out now, those AEW Dynamite ratings. And dear Lord, I believe they had an average of 818,000, which is very much on the lower side of what they average. They usually do about 800,000 to 870,000. Every now and then they'll hit 890. Every now and then they'll hit 880. I believe at one point, I think like two times out of the last couple months, they did get as low as about 700,000, the upper 700,000s. But usually they get about 800 to 870. And it's coming out now that they do a lot of slick stuff, man. They are slick as hell when it comes to how they operate in, finessing the ratings and stuff. They'll have Big Bang Theory going until about 801, so that counts towards their ratings. And then they'll have an overrun where if you record it, if you set it on your DVR, you don't get the whole thing because they leak on into the next show. So they're getting a part of the next show's viewers. So they kind of low-key cheat the ratings and stuff like that. And I think if you take out their quarter one ratings and their final quarter ratings, they average about 750K average viewers to about 800,000. So that's a more accurate one. Nobody pop ratings. Everybody, they got as low as, I believe, 750K. And of course that happened during the Young Bucks because they are irrelevant. Like I told y'all, people Suplex tried to say I was crazy, but the Young Bucks are very much irrelevant. Nobody checks for the Young Bucks anymore. And, that's just what it is. They got exposed. Everybody, all these indie darlings got exposed. They're gymnasts. They do routines. They do dance routines. And I always say, if you want a gymnastics routine, why don't you just go watch the Olympics? Why don't you just go watch Simone Biles? I'm not watching some 5'6" guys do it. I'm good. With the most punchable faces in the world. And you you kicked out your biggest stars. You kicked out CM Punk in a weird way. You kicked out Cody Rhodes, and now they're the two biggest stars in the other company. And it sucks because wrestling does need competition. It's very valuable. Maybe some of you people who's listening, maybe you who's listening don't think that AEW is necessary, but I very much do. I very much believe AEW is necessary given the fact that you don't need a WWE monopoly. That is the last thing you need, and it's just one of those things, man. It sucks. It sucks that this is because who's going to be the next person? There's not a Tony Khan's falling out of the sky, man. There's not trust fund babies who are wrestling fans. So who's going to be the next person to want to take a gamble on a wrestling company seeing how much AEW failed? So I don't know, man. I remember those numbers stick in my head, though. The 800,000s, the can't crack a millions, to losing 35 million in 1 year, and we don't even know if that's your worst year, So I don't know. I can only hope it'll improve, but what sign have I got that it will improve? I thought Samoa Joe would change things up, but they just did the same thing they did with the other guy to him. And by the other guy, I mean, of course, MJF. So, it sucks. It sucks. And, AEW. It's AEW. It's been AEW for the last, since that Hangman Adam Page promo, man. Or since Cody left. I keep wanting to put it on Adam Page, but you can really blame Cody. I wouldn't blame Cody for leaving. I see why he left. But if AEW fans want to blame any one thing for the downfall of AEW, it's when Cody left. All your credibility left. All your your foundation left when Cody left. So, that's where I tie it to. But, anywho, speaking of AEW and stars leaving or who should leave, and I wouldn't blame him if they left. I wouldn't blame this guy if he got fired. Actually, I would blame him if he got fired. I wouldn't blame Tony Khan if he fired him. Chris Jericho, man. He had a cruise, and it's very brave of him to show his face on this cruise, but where else could he be popular at other than his own cruise ship? He was doing a whole lot of nonsense, a whole lot of embarrassing himself and the people around him, such as the Big Show, such as his band Fozzy. This man was dressed up as David Bowie, and he looked totally ridiculous. And I get the fact that, God rest his soul, David Bowie would dress, as some people would call ridiculous. But given the fact that Chris Jericho is so out of shape, he just looked ridiculous, No, but I don't think a lot of people would accuse David of that. And this man looked ridiculous. He can't sing for shit. He doesn't really have a lot of musical talents in his bones. I don't think anybody would accuse him of being musically talented. So I don't know. And then he did a reunion with Jericho, and Big Show's knees are just bad. He got them Kenny Smith knees. If you don't know what I mean, look up Kenny Smith's knees. He's on Inside the NBA or NBA Tonight. I don't know. One of those shows with Shaq, Kenny, and the show with Shaq, Charles, Ernie. Look up Kenny Smith's knees. Kenny the Jet Smith's knees. That is what Big Show got, but it just looks way worse because Big Show is about 7 foot. At least he's built that. And, he's always been a bigger guy, not as in stature, but as in weight. So I can't imagine how much pain his legs in. Them motherfuckers is looking crooked. They look like you just threw some headphones out and tried to straighten them, but they got tangled up. That's what his legs look like. And Chris Jericho looked bad as well. He's getting more and more out of shape. He did get in shape at one point. But, looking back at Chris Jericho's body, he always had a weird shape to his body. He always kind of had a weird build, but it only looks worse now, and I don't know what his diet is like. He can still do a lion salt. He's just about 50, and, he can still move in there, kind of, sort of, not really, Not at all, actually, but it. I don't know. It just looks worse with age. That's what happens. You got to take more and more care of yourself. But I guess it's hard when you're on cruise ships and you're allegedly, you know, harassing your coworkers. So, it sucks to suck. But Chris Jericho, you might as well just retire, bro. Just go with your wife and some Trump rallies, or maybe I don't know. Just leave the business, because you embarrass yourself and you make your fans look crazy. You definitely make your company looks crazy. So it's time to give it up, Jericho. Speaking of crazy, I don't want to throw names at this man because I actually like this man very much. Pause. Cash Wheeler of FTR, FTR hair, because if the other guy's FTR bald, Cash Wheeler is FTR hair. They are moving forward with his charges. I believe about 8 months ago. He no, I think it was around September. I think it was around Wembley. He allegedly pulled a gun out on somebody in a road rage incident and pointed it at him. And now they're moving forward with the charges. I think that's kind of scary. I don't know exactly where he was, but I know certain cities, I know certain states, certain areas do not play about guns. I know in New York, if you get caught with a gun, you are done. It's over. Stick a fork in it, stick whatever the saying is, you're donezo. It's over. And I don't think he was in New York, luckily, but I don't know where he was to be confident that he'll get out of this unscathed. And, again, as a performer, I am very much a fan of this man. I think he is a part of the greatest tag team today. But, you got to be more careful. I don't know what he did. But, it's I don't know. I don't even know what evidence they have against him. I don't know what. It's scary to think about because, who knows what happened. And we've seen people go down for less. We've seen people take more time for less. And, you got to be more careful as a celebrity. You're a tough guy. I get it. I don't know if there was alcohol involved. I know they drink a lot after shows. I don't know if alcohol was involved. I don't know. I don't want to cast any aspersions. I'm calling cap on it. I believe in this man so much, I'm calling cap on it. But, we got to get these charges. I pray he beat the case. Man, come on, Tony Khan, get my man's a good lawyer. We can move past this and act like it never happened. Deal? Deal, Tony Khan? Deal. Alrighty. Beat the case, Cash. Finally, last but not least, Patrick goddamn Mahomes. Oh man, I don't necessarily have a problem with Patrick Mahomes, the person. Outside of a few things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, like how he was bitching with the refs that one Bills game, I believe. His family is terrible. His family is awful. I know people like his pops. I know nobody likes his wife and his brother, and people don't really like him either. But his pops was always kind of seemed like the cool dude. But now it's coming out that this man just caught his third DWI, and he's facing about 2 to 10 years. Now, do I think he's going to serve any jail time? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Patrick Mahomes is a gajillionaire. I'm sure he'll get the best lawyers possible. But damn, a third DWI? How do you get out of that? Me personally, I put nothing past these millionaires. I don't know where he caught the DWI at. I'm sure if he caught it in Kansas City, they'll let him slide. You know what I'm saying? They'll pull some strings. I'm pretty sure that, the old saying, you'll never have to buy beer. It's certain people like Joe Burrow. He'll never have to buy a beer in Cincinnati. Ironically enough, Joe Burrow caught a parking ticket out here. So I don't know. I would think that, given the fact that what Patrick Mahomes means to that city, if he caught it in Kansas City, he'd be all right. But damn, man, it on one hand, it's a third DWI. So how do you just get out of that unscathed? But on the other hand, again, I don't put nothing past these millionaires. They get away with it with a lot. They get away with a lot, especially if you're a football player. If you went to high school with these football players, man, they do a lot and they get away with a lot. They're bulletproof. So, his family embarrasses him again, but hey, you You either coach it or you condone it, and you keep letting these guys get away with it. You see his father with the sick. You see him with the cigars, I believe, every post game, and he looked a little faded though. He looked like he's smoking more than just cigars. So apparently he may have a drinking problem, and he may need therapy. He may need rehab. I know people who drink and drive all the time, and they don't get caught somehow. But you're not just putting your life at risk. You're not just putting your son's reputation at risk. You're putting other people at risk. Think of Henry Ruggs, who's doing jail time right now, I believe. Probably not enough jail time, but he's doing jail time right now. And, those things happen. And nobody think that they can get caught until they get caught. So I hope he stays safe because it's bigger than football. Even though I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan and we are the biggest rivals in the league. Yes, we are. At least in the AFC. I think that's undisputed. Again, this is bigger than just football, bro. Football is a sport that can die tomorrow and life will move on. But, he has to take care of himself because how many times until he get himself how many times until he hurts somebody else? It's not just him you got to think about. It's other people, some innocent civilian. I believe one of the legendary female wrestlers in WWE, she just went away she just got booked to prison for exact thing I'm talking about. I believe she killed someone while driving drunk. So, nobody thinks it can happen until it happened to them. So, take care of yourself. I just almost yawned. But that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for listening. If you're listening to this at work, I'm glad. I'll say thank you for choosing me as your voice. I hope about 40 minutes is enough to, get your, entertain you or made this last 40 minutes of your shift, more enjoyable. I appreciate you all so much. Hit that subscribe button if you made it this far. And I can't believe we've hit this we've come so far, man. And this has kind of been my life for the last it's February now, so this channel started really doing good around September. So this has kind of been my life for the last 5 months. And, I have grown a little stagnant over the last couple of weeks. I've been dealing with a lot of personal issues. But I'm back on the grind, man. This is all I've been doing today. I got home and I went straight to this. So whether all of these videos get chopped up today or tomorrow, who knows. But I appreciate you all so much, man. And, we use sports as an escape, and we use other people's lives as an escape. Let's be honest here, and just remember that it is, and not to belittle what you are in love with, whether it's football, baseball, wrestling, whatever, or even movies, whatever you're into. Not to belittle it, but just remember that you can't control that stuff. So don't get too emotionally torn about it. Live your life and control what you can't control. Be the change that you want to be in this world. Be the hero that your younger self needed, or be the hero that you feel like you need. And it's a tough world, and I love you all, and I'm not just saying that to say that. I promise you, I appreciate you all. Y'all support just keeps me going. And again, I won't get too much into it, but I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff. But, just checking this YouTube and checking the community that we've grown here. And I say we have grown here. I appreciate you all so much. Have a beautiful night, man. Join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you all so much. Have a beautiful night. Sub the act. Peace. I have a laptop, by the way. I got a laptop now, so,